Roster-wise, obviously we'll end up having a couple moving pieces here as a result of this, with Erik McCoy's bicep being done for the year and then Kendre's ACL being done for the year. So obviously really unfortunate because both those guys felt like been playing some really good football, and they've been doing a lot of good things. And so opportunities for other guys moving forward. We'll have to navigate that and play with those different combinations and sort through that. But coming out of this game, tough loss because you had your chances. The game came down to turnovers in the run game. Those were two of the biggest factors in this game, and they did a better job than we did. But open up for questions.
So Erik, beyond him being one of y'all's better players, the role he plays, leadership, and
no question.
Is that like a kind of a double blow on that?
Certainly he's one of our most impactful leaders on this team, and so other guys are going to have an opportunity to fill that void on the field. I think Erik still has that presence to all these guys, no matter what capacity he's in. He'll do everything he can to help, and think the world of him. He's been playing some phenomenal football, and so we'll have to navigate the roster as far as how that position ends up playing out. We have about 24 hours to kind of sort through that, and then we'll have to put a plan of action together and move forward with it.
Since coming here, what maybe has impressed you the most with Erik, and what's maybe caught you off guard with how he carries?
Erik's just really, really consistent player. He just doesn't make mistakes, and he just doesn't make mistakes. He's really clean. He executes at a really high level. His strain, his finish is really, really good, and he brings that whole group together.
What is the impact on like a young line, just like the communication, the organization, like when you take a guy like that, like how do you kind of run that and not let it be an issue?
Yeah, the biggest part will be just the communication aspect. When you have a guy like Erik who's been around this game for a really long time and he can communicate as well as any of them ever have, those other guys are all going to have to work together. It can't just be one person go into that position and say, hey, they need to do everything Erik did. That whole group needs to raise their level of communication. Tackles, guards, center, they all need to communicate at a really high level. There's been some growth in some of those other positions. I think those guys are communicating better and better each week, and so this is going to be a big opportunity for those guys to step it up even more.
And what's going to be your message to kids right now who's kind of starting to find this?
Yeah. I'm really proud of what Kendre has turned this season into from an individual standpoint, the progress he's made. It's a really unfortunate timing from an injury perspective, just because even that run, yesterday was a really good run. And so, there'll be some challenging days for him because of this. We think the world of him. He's going to be better, moving forward, and he'll be back and have more opportunities in the future.
Was McCoy confirmed to be a bicep tear?
Yeah.
Do you know if that was the same injury he had at the end of last season?
I don't believe so.
How confident are you that the line can respond in Perry's absence, especially like to kind of put the
These guys have rotated a lot, just the way our early part of the season's gone. They've all had to play in different capacities, and so I feel like they'll be able to respond. We'll have to juggle a few pieces. We'll have to decide who that starting group looks like here really shortly, but after that, then let's get those guys going, and they'll respond really well.
Quincy starting yesterday.
The what?
Quincy starting yesterday with the interception, but
yeah.
Starting that.
I thought Quincy played some really good football. I thought, obviously, the interception, big-time play. They had a lot of scramble opportunities where the play was being extended, and I thought our DBs did an excellent job of continuing to what we call plaster, stay connected with guys so they don't give up these explosive plays. Quincy had a big tackle in the red zone on a play where they threw a little screen out to the perimeter. He made an excellent space tackle that essentially put them into a three-point situation off of the first turnover. He's getting better and better each week. I think the world of him.
Is Ruiz considered?
Yeah, we obviously have three guys there who've played center in different capacities, and so you got Luke certainly who hopped in there, and I thought did some really good work. Selly's played there, Caesar's played there, and so we'll just work through this in the short little window and make a decision.
When you watch Rattler's film from yesterday, what was the biggest thing that's happened?
Yeah, there's some good stuff. There's just, the turnovers. That's the way Chicago's played, and they've done a phenomenal job of creating turnovers. And, obviously it was an unfortunate sequence there. And so it's growth opportunity. We got to protect the football. It's very, very valuable to these games as far as trying to win them. And, we just got to get better there.
Sure, Devin Mills is in this role now. And, Pass pro rep yesterday got a lot of attention. What do you thought?
Yeah, we've really liked Devin all the way through this whole process. We were fired up when we drafted him. He had an unfortunate injury that limited his preseason exposure. I thought he hopped in there, played some kick return as well. His role obviously will increase quite a bit moving forward. And I think he can do all aspects of the run game, pass game, protections. We're going to count on moving forward.
Do you guys see anything you can do to maybe like tighten up the run defenses there, like a common thread there with maybe some of the issues that have done there?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some healthy discussions as a result of that. Gap integrity, the backside, just squeezing space there, and then obviously we got to play really well fitting it, in the combinations, and so there was just some missed ops there, and then ultimately the tackling is an important aspect. They created more broken tackles than we did, and had a huge impact on all those explosive plays.
And then on like some of the third and longs, like obviously that's an ongoing thing. Like, are there opportunities there, or is like not getting them because it's being taken away? Like, are there shots maybe that you could take that aren't getting took, or what's kind of the?
There's a combination. I got to do a better job there. Obviously you want to avoid those, but they're going to show up in games. That's what happens, and we got to find a way to convert some of them. It's a combination of the downfield opportunities that are there. I got to create more of them for us, and got to put ourselves in better situations to be successful there, because we got to steal some conversions. We're way too low compared to, I know the odds are low, but we're way too low. So we got an opportunity there that we got to grow.
When you talk about here a few times about play calling and stuff, how do you self-evaluate that as a head coach, what you're doing during a game, play calling?
Yeah, just continue to evaluate it. Obviously, we have a lot of conversations through the week and during the game as a staff, and so we're close. We've had our moments where we feel like we're playing some really good football in the middle eight. I felt like it felt like, okay, this is, if we can just keep replicating this is what we need right here. We moved the ball, got stuck on a fourth down, unfortunate stop there, but then we go score, then we come back and score. The momentum's going, and then turnover bug got back into us, and so. We got to play better there, and I got to keep finding different ways that I can sequence this better for us just to create that flow.
When you find yourself taking a lot of field goals, red zone and such, do you become less patient with a kicker, or do you see those as two separate situations?
I see them pretty much just two separate instances. Offensively, you're trying to score touchdowns in the red zone. You're trying to get down there and then score red zone touchdowns. Really, we got down there one time in this game. Obviously, fortunately, we were able to score, and then we got to I think it was 21 and scored. So some progress there as far as getting down in that territory and then finishing. And then, obviously, from a field goal standpoint, we got to put ourselves in better situations there. And we've had too many good moments to fall back on, but we got to do better there.
After like trying to you have to like let him know that like he doesn't have to look over his shoulder still, or like what's kind of.
Yeah, I think we just got to respond the right way. Turnovers unfortunately happen in this game. We had a few too many in that game, and so those guys have done an excellent job of attacking the football. Chicago's on this turnover trend. They're doing an excellent job with it. We got to protect the football at a higher level, and unfortunately, we had a game that went that way, and so we got to learn from it and get better.
To that point, I know it's only one bad performance, but at 1-6, do you consider giving Shuck a look?
We just got to get better on offense. Spence is, you had, obviously the turnovers in this game, but, he's played a lot of good football. And so we got to get better. I think he's going to continue to grow and get better. Tyler's gotten better as the season's gone on as well. And so, obviously his is behind the scenes, and he gets to develop from a scout team quarterback perspective. And so, both these guys are continuing to grow, and they're going to get better.
So Rowler is still starting.
Yeah.
Chris told us last week that he was going to get back on track. He said he was working with drugs a lot last week. Did you see anything different in response to the game, or was that more of an anomaly?
CO played awesome in this game. Was super fired up for him. Made some big plays downfield, the 2 touchdowns, the explosive play downfield, the 50-plus yarder. I thought he responded really, really well. A couple of those are in some contested catch situations, and so I thought he played a really well game.
And is there a point in the season where you feel like you do have to see Tyler Sheck to see what he can do?
That's a week to week. I mean, we'll see as we go. We're focused on getting better right now. We got to get better. And so, Spencer, obviously, we had a game where some turnovers occurred. We get to respond.
You've been fairly overall going into this last game, pretty healthy team. You all look back on what you're doing and maybe as a byproduct of that, your health, how you all handled the offseason, the recovery, all things you talked about?
Yeah, I think injuries are going to occur in these leagues. You can't control all those factors, but I do feel like our guys are. I think our sports performance staff, our medical staff, I think there's good alignment there as far as putting these guys in really good situations to be ready to go on Sundays. And so I think there's definitely some credit that goes to those guys. Obviously, there's going to be things that come up like this that you can't control, but I think we're doing a good job in that space as far as getting our guys prepared, getting the workload, and getting our guys as much work as we can during the week, and getting them ready on Sundays.
What do you think of Chase's game on Sunday? PBUs.
Yeah, the PBUs were awesome. I thought he was really close to making a play there. I thought his rush, that the quarterback's going to play a little bit off schedule. He was really close on some opportunities there. In the run game, I think collectively, we just got close to space on the back end to squeeze some of those runs, so we don't have an opportunity, so much space on the backside. But he's going to continue to get better, and I think he's close to making some of those plays. And